Welcome to the Hangar Z podcast, brought to you by Vertical Helicast. This episode of the Hangar Z podcast was recorded on location in Houston, Texas, at the Airborne Public Safety Aviation Conference known as APSCON. Hosts Jack Schonely and John Gray have a discussion with the Airborne Public Safety Association Executive Director and CEO Dan Schwarzbach and APSA President Richard Bray. The conversation at APSCON 2024 highlights the evolution of law enforcement aviation, focusing on technological advancements, the importance of networking, and the role of training and partnerships in enhancing operational effectiveness. The guests discussed the significant changes in aviation technology, the growth of the APSCON conference, and the value of community connections in the industry. The conversation covers various aspects of the APSA member support and benefits provided by the organization, including scholarships, webinars, and networking opportunities. It also discusses future plans for expansion into Europe and the importance of media in promoting the aviation industry and recruitment efforts. The closing remarks highlight the dedication of the members and the ongoing efforts to build a strong community. Thank you to our sponsors, Astronautics Corporation of America, Robinson Helicopters, and Shotover.
Welcome to the Hangar Z podcast, brought to you by Vertical Helicasts. The Hangar Z podcast is the first and only podcast dedicated to promoting and exploring the personnel and equipment behind the missions in public safety aviation. Join your host, John Gray, Jeff Ratkovich, and Jack Schonely.
Still southbound, skidding to a stop. Down by here. Looks like they're getting ready to bail. Heads up, guys, bailing. Okay, the guy, he's running through the house, jumping the fence, through the shotgun, through something out. Grabbing the shotgun. Don't go over that fence. Don't go over that fence. Grab the shotgun again. He is armed. Stay there. Hold your position.
4 on the stop. You're in custody.
Good advising code 4 on the stop.
Welcome to the Hangar Z podcast. I'm your host, Jack Schonely, and we are on the floor of APSCON 2024 for our listeners. I'm going to paint a picture for you. We've got a couple of guests that many of our viewers are going to recognize immediately. The backdrop is 407 and a Bell 505 from Florida, from Leon County, right?
Yeah.
And we just talked to Lee Majors recently on the podcast. So it's great. We're on the floor. You'll hear the hustle bustle and see the movement. There's a lot of things going on. It's exciting, and we're glad to be here.
Yeah.
John Gray's with me, the creator of the Hangar Z podcast. John,
Yeah,
pretty fun, huh?
yeah, it's been awesome to be here. You guys doubled the footprint of the show this year.
Yep.
Huge, looks great. The aircraft look awesome. Looking at that Leon County ship over there, it's all waxed and looks nice.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, they did a good job.
I gotta look at that ship.
It's gorgeous.
Oh yeah, when it flew in, it didn't look like that.
Yeah, I'm sure there was a bunch of bugs all over it. But yeah, it's been a great time. So thank you for having us.
Our guest today, our CEO, Dan Schwarzbach. Dan, welcome.
Yep,
Welcome
thank you.
back.
Thank you.
And president of APSA is Richard Bray. Richard,
Thank
good to
you.
see you. We were just chatting. I asked Richard, I said, you've been doing this a long time. I mean, being in law enforcement aviation. And what was it?
1989.
89.
I was my first assignment to my first air unit.
Yeah.
And I've been in some capacity or another since 89.
Yeah.
Currently still, I retired in 2017 and as a law enforcement officer. I was immediately hired back by the sheriff as a civilian chief pilot. I'm still in the same position.
Outstanding.
Now in my 5th year as APSA president.
Yep.
5th and I have one more year before the end of my term, and I'm term limiting myself.
Yeah.
Because some other people have to step up. But
Yeah.
I'm involved in some part-time flying at a couple other agencies, so I'm still enjoying it and having a good time, and this is my favorite time of year to come to this show.
It's busy, but it's fun and it's rewarding. And I know all of you on the board work your butts off. There's so many things that we just take for granted. We walk in and everything's here, Yeah. But for you, there's a lot that goes into this, and there's moment-to-moment things that come up. So well done.
It is a busy time for the board, but the board's part of it is about a week worth. Dan and the office staff, I got to give them credit because they're going to start working on Phoenix at 25 when we turn the lights off here in at the end of this week. So they really are doing the bulk of the work.
And one last thing we talked about prior to going on the air is you've got 2 months seniority in the guy sitting next to you. Is that right?
Yeah, it's a couple.
2 months, Dan.
So I joined APSA in 1986, January. I went to Air Support in 1985, but I joined APSA or ALA back then in January '86. He joined in November of '85 when he became a member. So I'll get 40-year membership in 6. He'll get his 40-year membership next year.
Next year. So I'll be going out with 40 years of service.
Yes. That's amazing. Yeah. That's a long time, and you've both been involved in various positions too within the organization, right? I mean, you contributed more than the average person to this, and so a lot of what we see today wouldn't have happened without people like you guys, because it has certainly evolved, hasn't it?
Yeah.
From the first
really
time,
has.
which was here in Houston.
Yep.
The very first. What year was that?
1971.
71, and now here we are, 2024. I mean, amazing. And how many helicopters? Do you remember? How many helicopters?
I wasn't even here
floor?
then, so I have no clue.
So what do you think?
I was a freshman in high school.
That's right.
But
That's right.
you know what? I can tell you that the first meeting was I think there was only 8 exhibiting companies.
Oh, wow.
It was all in a hotel.
Right.
I think there was only 8 companies that exhibited. And I'll tell you who really put it all together was Hughes Aircraft put it back together.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hughes said, hey, guys, we all need to come together and let's see if we can, So the very first, there was a meeting of just operators in Wichita, Kansas the year before. They said, hey, let's do this. Let's add a few classes and let's bring in some vendors to show their wares.
Yeah.
And that was in 1971 in Houston.
Wow.
There was 8 of them. So
that long way.
If you guys think back over, because outside of the 2 months you've been here the same amount of time, if you're to think back over the years that you've been involved in APSA and these conventions, what's the one thing, or maybe 2, that stands out the most as far as a technological advancement or something that's changed with the industry?
I'm going to have to say the camera and moving map systems because when I first went into air support, it was a night sun searchlight and or binoculars, and that was it. And I know we missed a lot of people, especially in Florida where it's so heavily wooded. So we're just basically shining the light, hoping a dog will catch them. But the advancement, and even we bought a camera system at our agency about a year and a half ago, and it's already surpassed even what we bought. You really can't even keep up with it.
You can't. It evolves quickly.
And even spotlights, because I remember when we first started, we were actually plugging a Q-beam into the cigarette lighter and using that for, I swear, and then in a 300, and then we had our old Carter 4-pot spotlight that we had to drill a hole through the floor to put it through.
It had a handle, right?
Up and down to elevation, and then the spotlights, moving map definitely, thermal imagers definitely, and that's changed the entire complexion of the job.
Night
really
vision
is.
goggles. I mean, we didn't have any. of that
NVG,
stuff.
another great one.
Yeah, there's a long list, isn't there?
Yeah.
There really is. But I agree. I would have said map camera and how they combine the map camera now. Yeah. It's amazing. It's amazing. Long way from a map book and some some binoculars, and they probably weren't even gyro stabilized.
If you were lucky, they were gyro
That's right. That's right. They were just normal binoculars you got at the sporting goods store.
Get motion sickness the whole time.
They're vibrating, and we made it much more comfortable, much more.
Air conditioning, because we didn't have air conditioning back then. Didn't think about it.
Yeah, and in the South, oh my gosh, Texas, Florida. We would always go, how do those guys do that?
9 months out of the year, doors off. We never even put them on 9 months.
Oh yeah,
wow,
makes sense.
And the TFOs now, to some degree, the pilots. I mean, you have FADEC systems and all that now, but the TFOs, I mean, they got to be very tech savvy.
Yeah,
exactly.
Couple with all
that job's exponentially harder than it used to be.
It is.
We were called observers back then, and rightfully so when you look at what is.
Oh yeah,
now.
Yeah, I agree. The observer thing applied back in the day, but no longer. That tactical flight officer. Maybe that doesn't even apply anymore. It's so technical.
Maybe it's technical tactical flight officer.
That could be, because I look at it now and just go, wow. There was things that we all did with map books and stuff. And the advancement is so nice, but at the same time, you got to be able to go back to that. If something fails, and that's hard.
Yeah,
that's hard. So in some ways, the job's gotten much easier. In some ways, I agree, Dan, it's gotten much more challenging because of the wide variety of technology that's in front of you.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so many things you have to be able to troubleshoot. You know, how the moving map locks up. How do I fix that? My goggles just failed. How do I fix that? You know, everything is a lot more to know. There's a lot more to know.
I think I'll just throw in one more thing. I like the efficiency that you gain, and you talk about catching bad guys. Those cameras are improving that a lot. But the other part that I like a lot and talk about a lot is the safety that it adds to our mission set. You've got these cameras now. You can fly at 1,500, 2,000 feet AGL, and you can see everything just fine on that camera. So it gives you that extra layer of safety. You know, if you're an engine malfunction or something at that altitude, it gives you more time to think and respond to what you're doing. Versus 500 AGL. So I like that part of it as well.
That was one of the sales pitches for us getting the camera, because if you get noise complaints also. Yeah. As I told the sheriff at the time, I said, if we purchase this camera, our hard deck at night is going to 1,500 feet. Most of my guys are at 2,000 feet at night, and we have no noise footprint or minimal noise footprint anymore, and it can still do the job.
Yeah. I think the level of safety is definitely improved and much better. And I think also through our efforts but I mean APSA's, ALEA's efforts, and everybody that preceded us efforts over the years have added to the professionalism of what we do. You know, where all of our operations are much more professional than I think they were. Years and years ago.
Agreed.
Yeah. Yep.
Agreed. Give us some highlights from your perspective. We've done. Last night we were here on the floor for 3 hours. A little bit of time this morning. What's jumped out at you? What are some highlights of what's going on the floor, and then we'll move to other things. Anything jump out at you?
Well, we have more aircraft on display at this show than we've had in quite a long time, and that's kind of a benchmark that we judge things by. Because vendors have to have larger booths to display the aircraft, but guys really like to see the different machines, and there's a couple of agencies, including my own, that are looking to purchase aircraft. So we want to touch everything we're buying, and that's
you want to sit in it, touch it, feel it,
smell it,
everything. It'd be it's so important. So important to look at that.
It's nice having all the aircraft on display, and then we, as you mentioned, we doubled our display space, our floor space. Dan had called me in April and said, people still are signing up for booths. We're already sold out. Will you approve us moving into the next room here? And I go, that's unbelievable.
Yeah,
that's
it
great.
Really has grown.
Yeah, no, it's grown a lot. And it's the things that stand out to me are like Richard said, the number of aircraft. And again, it's the largest number. The number of registrants. As of yesterday, we were up 15% over last year.
Wow.
And I only went back 4 years, but this is the highest in the last 4 years.
Great.
Wow. That's a big percent.
That's in terms of people that are registered. In terms of exhibitors, we're 13% higher than last year. We got 156 companies represented out there. Wow. And then the whole drone operation area over there. We're doing the NIST courses. We've got the drone operation area. NIST has set up the confined area. We've got the restricted area. Just the open lanes are over there. And just the whole component of the UAS. We got some big names in UAS now here. Players that we've been trying to attract for a while that weren't necessarily playing with us, and now they're here. So we're excited about that too.
Wow.
And this is also Dan Knight, who is our new training program manager. This is his premier show, running it as himself, setting up the training programs. We've got new instructors. We've got new programs, and he's doing a fantastic job with that. So we've got a lot of stuff going on, and the girls were telling me earlier that we had the officer singing the national anthem, and people are still registering to come to the show.
Wow.
Which is it's incredible.
Her voice, by the way,
percentage.
her voice was amazing.
Oh yeah, what a national anthem.
She was fantastic.
that was fantastic. But that's a big percentage.
Yes,
I mean, 15 and 30, that's a huge jump.
Yep.
What do you have any explanation for it?
Well, I think a lot of things. Houston's centrally located, and people that have been to Houston, this is the first time this is the first 5-time host.
Yeah.
So Houston not only hosted the first one, this is the first city to host 5 times. And so I think people have been here. Some people have been before. They like the setups with the hotels connected to the convention center. They know that they can walk and stay in air conditioning the whole time if they choose to.
That was my favorite part.
John didn't melt yet. He's doing good.
That makes a difference. The pandemic, even though we're a couple years out, it still has affected a lot of things. Airline services, everything. And while prices have gone up, I think we're finally emerging from the pandemic pretty well. And people are back out. People are buying aircraft. People are traveling. People are getting, want to come to shows like this. I think the central location helps a lot. But I just think there's a lot of synergies that come together to do this show.
Yeah,
so.
it all makes sense.
Yes.
It all makes sense. That's good to hear. It continues to grow, continues to evolve. It's come a long way since 71. Sure, absolutely.
But before you move on, what stands out to you as unique? You haven't been here. You've been here in 7 years, right?
Yeah, it's been 7 years. And a couple things. One, the size. I immediately when I walked in, I went, "Oh my gosh!" It was pretty impressive to see the size and the depth. And then the nice thing for me is bumping into the people that I've known for years and that I haven't seen in a long time. I used to see them annually. And we all know that. Yeah. There's people that you see once a year in this industry that you're friends with, and you see them at ALEA or APSCON. I mean, you just did. And 7 years without that, I was going through withdrawals. There's people that really mean a lot to me that I've seen in the past 24 hours that really, it really felt good. Yeah. It felt good. And everybody goes through that. And that's how we knew each other.
Right,
we would see each other once a year, maybe at a regional, here and there. But, that's the annual visit. And that went away.
Thank you to our sponsor, Shotover. Shotover Systems is the leading developer and manufacturer of high-performance gyro-stabilized cameras with advanced real-time AR mapping and mission management, all backed by unparalleled custom training and support. Now offering the M2 multi-sensor system, Sol 6-axis EO/IR platform with 4K Ultra HD color and infrared technology. Ideal for law enforcement and defense. Offered with real-time AR overlays to quickly identify streets, weather, and traffic. Automated license plate recognition, 24 megapixel digital photographs, and automated steering and tracking.
As important, or maybe more important, than all the classes we put on in this exhibit hall floor is that networking, is getting together, talking to each other, getting to know each other, becoming friends, knowing that you can pick that phone up and call that person, even though you see them once a year, know they're going to be there and they got your back and they got the information you need. That the networking opportunities that this provides is, in my opinion, the most valuable thing.
Yeah. We talked about that when we had you and Dan, when we had the two Dans on. We talked about the networking, and I know John's a big fan of the networking, as I am. I think we said if you don't leave this place without a stack of business cards, you're not doing it right. Because we've all called somebody. We've all done it where we called somebody and said, "Hey, you guys use this piece of equipment," or "What do you do for this?" or "We're having a problem with this." And the networking pans out, and it saves you time, money, effort, all sorts of things, and you create these friendships. Todd Tolbert, one of your new board members. I've known Todd for a long time. He was one of the first persons I bumped into here, and that was exciting for me. I mean, and we've exchanged info over the years many times. So the network is important. I'm glad that it.
And I remember I was out in L.A. doing training with Guardian helicopters. And I said, I'm going to call Jack Schonely and go on a ride along with LAPD. And I call him, come tonight. I'm working. And
I think that's where a lot of magic happens when you go to another agency and fly with them, because you see how they operate and you're like, wow, I never thought about that. And you've seen it happen. It really turns the light bulb on.
It does.
That's cool.
Yeah,
it does.
We had a blast, too.
He barely passed the background to get it. but once we got the background, green light, I remember that. That was a long time ago, too.
I think that's why more business deals are done on the golf course than they are.
Exactly. Exactly. There's business deals, political deals, the golf course, the same kind of thing there, What about training? Anything new that jumps out at you? I know we're already in it. But is there something about the training side that has jumped out at you in the past few days? Because it started Monday for the training. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, everybody was training in those rooms. We walked over there yesterday, peeked in on Clay just to say hello. And it seemed to me like there was more classrooms than I remember.
Yeah, yeah. On the course side, we had 6 additional courses this year that we haven't done, and a lot of those had to do with the UAS side of the house.
Right.
There was 1 or 2 on the man side.
Yeah.
The vehicles, the intercession takeover, that was a new course this year. It was a 1-day course, but that was a new course.
That's a great course.
Yeah. So we've added some a course, but then on the drone side, there were 6 new courses on that side. So yeah, and we expanded the classrooms. I know that today we try to limit the number of limit educational opportunities today because we want people to be on the exhibit hall floor for our exhibitors. Tomorrow we provide lunch to get the people down from the class to come on the floor. But tomorrow we've got, I believe, about 45 classes running tomorrow.
45 classes.
And there are, which I wrote, I'm facilitating a couple of them, but our roundtable discussions and symposiums where you just raise your hand and say, hey, this is what's going on, and like we were talking about the networking, somebody in the back of the room will go, hey, yeah, get with me offline. I had the same deal. I can tell you how to fix it or whatever it is. And my favorite has always been the unit manager class when we've been scholarshiping the first 20 attendees for that for at least 20 years, right? For quite some time. And I've sent all of my bosses to it. I've instructed in that class, and it's always maxed out. There's probably 60 some people in there.
I noticed that was a big class when we walked by. It was like, wow, because there was a time when it wasn't that big,
right?
And it was and every year it seems to grow. And when I looked in there, I thought that immediately. That is a big class, and I think we would all agree that may be one of the most important classes that happens here.
It definitely is. It definitely is. And the reason why is because if you could, in our industry, especially in the United States, we change unit commanders on a regular basis. I was in air support for 30 years, had 18 unit commanders in 30 years there, and they're always rotating. And we realize that unit commander has the biggest effect on your operations, but more important, your safety. Yep. And if we get them early, then we do well. That offshoot, that scholarships that we do, that 20, that didn't come from the education side. That came from the safety side.
Yes.
And our safety program manager at the time said, hey, I'd like to see us do this because that's what's going to make us operate safely. We get buy-in from the unit managers. And that's been, in my history, we had, last time we were here in Houston, I had a new unit manager. He'd been there for 3 weeks. I said, Cap, you got to come to this course. He came to the course, and I will tell you that and he was out there for 3 years. It was a long time for him. The next 3 years, out of my 30 years there, were the best 3 years that I experienced in terms of the way the operation was run. Yeah. It really had to do with him getting that course.
I agree.
And opening his eyes right away.
Yeah. And I don't even know the person you're talking about or anything, but I can immediately say I agree. that because most people that run units, the vast majority nationwide, are not aviators, and most of them are not. And they're coming from a world of, a police manual and laws and stuff. And they come into aviation where there's these FARs, that they don't even haven't even seen that book before, and they have to learn so much. And in 3 days, you give them a taste of everything, right? And it gives them a taste.
You want to sleep on duty? Seriously, something like that.
Yes, a good example.
My current sheriff, he retired as the undersheriff. He's come back as an appointee and is running again, but he was my lieutenant for a couple of years in the unit.
Yeah.
And he knows what the deal is. He trusts me. And my current captain started as a TFO. I trained him as a pilot. He got promoted out of the unit, stayed in as a backup pilot, and that. Now he's the commander over the division.
Oh, that's cool.
Very beneficial, isn't
it? It's extremely beneficial
and unusual,
and very unusual. Yeah. Our sheriff, he moved divisions. The sheriff left us with him, even though the division he commands now has nothing to do with there is some operations there, but it's more of administrative areas. And the sheriff saw the importance of him keeping us under him for at least for the time being.
Good. Because that's really nice.
Which really it makes it easy for me. So
just acronyms and terminology.
Right. Yeah.
It can be overwhelming. It's like me going to the bomb squad. Say you got to manage a bomb squad.
Like what?
A what?
Cut the red wire.
That's all I know. That's all I know. Tom Cruise cuts the red wire. I can cut the red wire. But it would be the same thing. I've seen them. I've never been part of them, and now I got to manage them. How am I going to do that without knowing a lot? And in 3 days, managers can come in here and leave with a lot of knowledge and resources and business cards.
Yeah. And even more, I talked to one that was in the course. He's left with more questions than he ever had. And that's the good part, because now he's going to go get the answers.
That's right.
But he wouldn't even have known to ask those questions, because you don't know what you don't know.
Yep.
And even if you give them the taste, then now they got the questions. He says, I'm leaving with a longer list of questions than I had, that I ever thought I would have.
Yeah.
But now I know I need to know these things.
Yeah.
That person's going to succeed.
Yeah.
I can tell. Again, don't know who it is. Doesn't matter. That person's going to succeed. And the people that leave there go, oh, I got it now.
I opened
Whoa.
I opened that unit manager class on Monday. I introduced myself and told them what the course was about. And I said, I don't know everything. None of the instructors in here know everything, but we can get all of the information from somebody that is going to be here this week. So if we don't know it, we do know where to find the answer to
I know a guy.
Very much so. Yeah, I know a guy.
I know a guy.
And as a matter of fact, I know 50 guys that can help you with that problem. Managing aviation units or any specialized unit. But I think aviation goes above and beyond what you have to know because of FARs.
Yes, I agree.
And because of you're about to buy, you're the final signature on buying one of these birds that's a lot of money. Most units, a SWAT commander isn't spending millions on one piece of equipment, and you are gonna, as a commanding officer, you're gonna be involved in that. That's a whole thing all by itself that can be overwhelming.
Yeah.
And so the manager's class, I'm sure, talks about that. It's just a really good thing. So for those of you listening, I mean, how many commanders? 18?
18 and 30 years.
I had 9 in 19 years. And, so I can relate to that.
Yeah.
And most of them were the vast majority were really good people. But I think there was only two, maybe 3 aviators. The rest came in completely blind. Good people, good cops. But the learning curve is steep.
Yeah.
And that was good timing for somebody that's brand new. You say, oh, man, go to this 3 days and you're going to benefit. Great course. So those of you listening, and you get new commanders, you got to send them to the unit manager's class.
We're talking last night, and one other thing, I want to make. They took a poll in the unit manager's class that's going on right now. A third of those people were a year or less. A third were 0 to 5 years, or 1 to 5,
right?
And a third were 5+. And so it's interesting that, but it was, and Don Roby was talking about it. He said that our former training program manager, he said that he had never seen a class that big where it was a third of brand new to medium to guys that have been there for a while, which is, he thought pretty interesting that somebody was, the 5+ are there, but they're coming because they want to learn.
Oh yeah,
that's great.
Yeah, you can't learn everything without some guidance and some topics. Just looking at the outline is beneficial, because you go, oh, these are the topics that I have to be concerned about. I never even thought about these 5, and now you're going to go in and learn about them in depth from subject matter experts. Really good, really good. Let's move to partnerships. This sort of thing doesn't happen overnight, and it doesn't happen without partnerships with vendors, with all sorts of things. Can you talk about some of those relationships with vendors that helps make these things happen?
Certainly, we have partnerships with a lot of the vendors
here,
and you got to have them, like you said. Okay. Yeah. We do trade agreements with some vendors. We do. Obviously, a lot of vendors come in and buy their booths, but they do that because we try to help promote them, how to promote their business, how to promote their products. We do a lot of what we do, whether it's announcements, we did a special edition e-newsletter that was distributed Wednesday just for this event. It had 35, 40 entries. It was all just vendors. Whatever we sent it out to everybody that was exhibiting. Hey, tell us what your new. Tell us what you're going to be presenting. Tell us what your new thing is. Tell us what you were highlighting at APSCON. And free of charge, we put out an e-newsletter with your listing, your booth number, and what you wanted to do. So those types of things help you put them to promote their products and these opportunities. In the background, right over next to me here is a Tech Talk Theater.
Yeah,
we have 2 of these Tech Talk Theaters this year on the floor, and so that provided 18 opportunities for any vendor that wanted to come in. And we provide the AV, we provide the setup. It's all on us, and they get to come in and do. And this can be just a blatant sales pitch. They can come in and they can just say, "Buy my product; it's the best because." We offer sponsorships. They can sponsor these different courses and classes we have, and they get to come in and talk about their product for a few minutes there and promote their stuff. But we also use some of the company. Our subject matter experts aren't just practitioners, aren't just the police officers and firefighters that are out there doing this work. It's also some of these guys that are selling this equipment.
Oh, yeah.
And they will come in and teach as well. Now, we like to be agnostic. We want them to, but they still get to talk about their technology, which helps promote their products at the same time. And they do that. So that's really cool.
We also, to promote the vendors, I don't know what year we added it, but we started the lunch crawl and sponsoring the lunch on the expo floor on Friday to keep more of our members on the floor instead of they disappear for lunch and never come back.
Right.
We offered them coupons to eat lunch on the floor and stay here. And 2 years ago, I think we added the additional hour on our opening night. We moved it to Wednesday instead of Thursday because the classes were over Wednesday and they end at 4:30. This didn't open till 7, and people are drifting off. And the vendors talked to me about it. I'm sure they talked to Dan as well. They said, hey, why are we waiting to? So we opened it at 5, and that became our opening. Give them 3 hours on the first night, and they just love it. So we're
rather than be a 2-hour sneak preview of kind of a little teaser on that Wednesday night. Said, hey, let's do our grand opening. Let's make this our opening reception. Let's make it bigger. And you saw from the what a great feeling.
It was great.
It was. The music was fun. People were having fun. The food was great. Bell sponsored all that. Thank Bell for the food and the drinks.
Great.
Everything you see in the majority of the stuff you see in the UAS fly area, that confined house and a lot of stuff up there, that's all a partnership with NIST.
Okay.
Go back and National Institute of Standards and Technology, and they come in and they set all that up, and that's no charge to APSA. So we have a good partnership with them. We're building proctors for them around the country and the courses we're offering, and they come in and do this and set this up and bring proctors and get people through these courses and classes. And tomorrow they have the opportunity. Anybody that wants to go fly a drone, they brought drones. Go over there and give us some practice. They're open up to anybody tomorrow.
Hey,
it's kind of cool.
Hey, John.
What
do you think? Got any ideas about that, John?
If you lost your medical, go fly a drone.
I could do that.
Thank you to our sponsor, Robinson Helicopter Company, the choice for unrivaled safety and reliability, so you can accomplish any mission with confidence. For more than half a century, Robinson has been at the forefront of the helicopter industry. From the R-22 to the R-66 turbine, Robinson makes helicopters accessible so more people can accomplish more missions. Climb higher. For additional information, visit www.robinsonheli.com.
So I do want to touch on something. He talked about, some of these classes that are going on at the Tech Talk, and the fact that a lot of the vendors bring their expertise over here and talk about whatever it is that they're representing. What's interesting about our community is, you retire from active law enforcement and you go to work for Bell, you go to work for Airbus, these different vendors that are on the floor, all that expertise that they gain over the course of their career, they're giving back to the community, all that knowledge. So it's really cool these things are happening, and it's cool to hear from the folks that have retired and moved on, but still leaning into the industry and giving us their insight. So Terry Mauchi, man, that man is amazing. His leadership talk is amazing. He's at the unit managers conference. He's here. So he's one of those guys that we're talking about. He's giving back to the community, even though he's no longer in law enforcement. He's with Bell, and it's great. I love that about it.
Yeah, we did PAFCON in Europe just last month or late May, early June, and he did the same presentation there. It is a great presentation.
Yeah.
He gets around and gets the message out. So.
And then it was a hit there. I heard from people that said, wow, that's Terry Bianchi. Yeah, well, we've known that for years.
Yeah.
He's got a talent. He's really talented at sharing his information, too. He's just really easy to listen to and talk to and communicate with. And wealth of knowledge and leadership, man. I love
if those who know him, former commander from Arizona DPS.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
yes, thanks for adding that. We talked about member support now too. Besides what is right here, this is obviously for the members. You put this on so that the members can come here and benefit. Tell us some of the things that APSA does for members directly outside of APSCON. Beyond when this ends on tomorrow afternoon, other things happen for the members. Talk about some of those things.
Well, we have regional safety seminars and on the road courses that we put out throughout the year. That some of the guys that cannot travel for whatever reason to a central location They can go to their region events. I know in Florida we've done the TFO course on the road a couple times, and that's always standing room only.
Oh, yeah.
It does very well,
Yeah.
and our regional typically does very well. It's another opportunity to get some of the class material, but I got to go back to the networking, because you're going to have access through the membership database on the website to call anybody, contact anybody you need. If we got some agency that's still operating 58s, I get calls all the time from 58 operators, especially in the Southeast. We still got an awful lot of them, and they get the first thing, sir, I got your name from, it goes from there. So it's the networking and the contacts. What company do you recommend for X? Yeah, try calling these people or whatever. So
some other member benefits include our online meeting groups. We do 5 different online meeting groups. We do safety, natural resources, UAS, maintenance, and they meet. Some of them meet every other month. Some meet quarterly. But it's an online live meeting via Zoom. Any topics can come up. We talk about it. It's like a live forum is what it really is. Like if you have forums, it's like a live forum. We do those. We're getting ready to add a unit commanders forum as well, a working group. Those are all online. We do the webinars. We do 9 webinars a year. We stop during the summer months, but we do 9 webinars, all free for members. That's live online education. So they can get the education as they can't come. That's what the pandemic taught us, is we spun everything off online.
Yeah.
And then as we're getting back in person, which is really our strength and our bread and butter, we have those people calling, hey, my agency will never get me there. Don't forget us, they can't get there. So we still do the online webinars. The magazine, RB Magazine, that's really for the members. The monthly e-newsletter, that's for the membership, to keep them informed. So I think we're membership driven. We're vendor supported. Certainly, they provide 85% of our income. The vendors, their sponsorships, they're buying the booths, and that thing provides 85% of our income. But we're really member focused and member driven, and that's why we exist. That's what we're here
and
for.
Don't forget about the scholarships.
Oh yeah,
we just 45 minutes ago handed out over $40,000 worth of scholarships to the children of our members to enable them to further their education. And it doesn't have to do anything with aviation, public safety. They can go to med school or whatever it is that they want to do. But it's just one more thing that we can support our membership with.
Love that.
Yeah. Really good.
And we have a number of other recognitions, safety, flight safety awards. We issue plaques to people, presidential recognition, things like that. And all of that is a benefit to our individual members, but in turn that benefits the agency and the unit to have that recognition as well.
We'll put you guys on the spot here in a minute, and we can edit this out if we need to. But for the scholarships, any interesting stories that you recall from the applications or the winners from this year's scholarship applications?
He's not involved in that process, and I'm only involved because I take everything and review everything, put it on a spreadsheet, and send it out to the committee, which is made of each region. Each region director has this.
Right.
So no, on the scholarships, no. But I will tell you on the scholarships, Sherry Hadley, who was our longtime, she came on as our executive secretary, then became our executive director. Then when we moved from Tulsa into Frederick, Maryland, she became our meeting planner and manager. She was with us for a long time. She even worked last year. She was working for us. Even though she was no longer a meeting planner, she was our on-site coordinator because, quite frankly, with us, my staff, there was only 5 of us that put all this on, and besides a couple contractors. And so she was on my on-site person. She'd make sure the breakfast was set up, make sure the awards were set up. She would do all that for us. She unfortunately passed away in August, right after we did this last one. So we established the Sherry Hadley Memorial Scholarship. So $3,500 scholarship. It's the highest value scholarship we have. We had a lot of applicants for it this year. That was really nice to see.
Wow, that's really nice. I wasn't aware of that.
Yeah.
And anybody that's listening that's been to ALEA or APSA knows Sherry.
Yes.
I mean, it's unavoidable. You knew who she was. When you registered and showed up, she was there. When you'd see her on the floor. At regionals, she was involved in everything.
Yes.
She was like the face, to me, Sherry was like the face of ALEA and now APSA, because you'd go to different parts or different regions and the faces change, but Sherry was there.
I used to refer to her as the mother of public safety aviation.
Absolutely true. She was wonderful. Well, she was wonderful. And it was always nice to see her, and it's very sad that we lost her.
Yes.
But very nice.
76 was a very early age, in my opinion.
Yes, I agree. And very nice that you guys did that, a Sherry Hadley Memorial. That's really cool.
And her husband Howard was there this morning, so that was nice. And he's asked for some information about the winner this year. He wants to reach out to her, so that was very nice.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
She was a very special person to this organization. Countless hours. Oh my gosh. Put out a lot of fires too, didn't she?
Yes.
I mean, things would come up at registration. I remember things coming up, and she'd go, "Whoa!" And she found a solution, and 10 minutes later it was fixed. With the way things were printing out or something. I mean, she was like a firefighter, putting out fires all over the place.
A couple great sayings. You may, if you knew Sherry well, once you say she would just, being southern from Alabama, she was, bless her heart. All the time.
It is funny. My family's from the South originally. And I learned that when my family says "bless your heart," they're calling you stupid.
It's
The Southern insult.
Exactly what it was. Yes.
Bless your little heart. I'm like, what did I do wrong?
But it's so polite,
They do make it sound sweet. So you're like, wait a minute, what just happened?
Oh, that's great. Let's talk about the future. You mentioned Phoenix earlier. That's important for our listeners to know. Next year.
Speaking of Phoenix, there's a couple Phoenix guys right there.
That's right. A couple Phoenix guys just walked up. We're talking about Phoenix for next year.
Some challenge coins. Yeah, that's cool.
Nice. So Phoenix next year for the APSCON, for the big one. But what else is going on in our future in the coming year? Let's say what you want to talk about.
Well, we are working on plans to move into Europe. And offer this in Europe. Dan and I are probably traveling to scout out some things in Europe. We got the support of the board on that this year, and we've our instructors and staff have always participated in PAVCON.
Yes,
but as funding issues came up, we said the board's not really proceeding to the level we want, and board's not going to fund it anymore, and people still self-funded it because they really wanted to keep involved in it, and I'm very happy to say that this year the board has decided that we're going to move in that direction.
This is a long time coming.
So
I mean,
it is.
We've
been working on it for a long time,
yes.
and this is as I said, is my last year as president. And I'm really happy to see that this is moving forward under my term.
I'm happy to see that too.
And we're working on that, and then of course all the other things that we do are on the road courses and our webinars. All these things. We just added unit manager online forum, which we haven't had before, and I go, that's awesome. I'll facilitate that. So. Yeah. We're always discussing what different things we can do moving forward, and try to keep it growing. And one big thing, and we were talking last night. I was hosted a little event in the suite last night. And
anybody get arrested?
It goes not as far as you know. And a lot of the younger guys are in there that are coming up in the industry, and they're going like, where are we going to get our knowledge from when all you old guys finally give it up, right? Where are we going to get this from? And I said, from you guys. I mean, being here at this event and interacting with us, even over a beer or whatever it is, we're trying to encourage you to take over.
That's right.
Yeah.
So
the next generation's got to be ready.
I've been on the board for 10 years. It's been awesome.
Sure.
But Dan too. I mean, we're not going to be here forever.
That's right.
So we've got to bring these people in. We got to keep them motivated to keep this industry, going.
I agree.
So some of the internal things you're going to see is we're going to have to go to a new association management system. That's what runs our membership. That's what runs the events. That's what runs the floor plans. That's what runs our finances. We'll be switching over to a new one between now and January the 1st. That comes with a new website. So you'll be seeing a new website for APSA. It's been a while since we've refreshed the website. You'll be seeing that. Something new that we just added this year, and that's the early part of that, is a show app. So we've got a really good
that's
app
great.
that's on.
Yeah, that's been helpful.
I had to get the Apple developer account and a Google developer account, iPlay, and so we can have those and have those, as part of an app that you can go download right from your app store. So, and that's the first step into getting that new stuff. So all that's coming. We're excited about it.
It's excited. Yeah. I'm really excited about the PAVCon side, I got to say, because I've gone to three PAVCons over the years. And for years, there was always the talk, ALEA and then APSA.
Right.
We have a lot to offer them in guidance, in experience, in
we know their
all
future is
that.
uncertain. PAVCon as a
Right.
show, their future's uncertain.
Yes.
Bryn, that's run that for a long time.
Yeah.
He even said in the recap for that show, what's next? We don't know. It's something that somebody's not approaching 80 that needs to start doing it.
Yeah.
So this is not PAVCon. This will be APSCON Europe. It'll be different, but it will be a lot of the same players, but it's something new. We're exploring it. Like he said, we will be at European Rotors in Amsterdam in November, starting to promote some of this and do some exploration. But we're going to be kicking it off. So it's
good.
fun.
I'm excited about that because it just seemed obvious and common sense that ALEA, APSA, over these years we're working this, should be there
Because they like our
it's the
knowledge,
same.
but they don't want the American voice necessarily.
Understood.
They got to get those European voices,
And there's
that's
plenty
what
of
we
them.
need. Yes, sir.
And there's plenty of them. Harold Brink being one.
Yes.
Harold's under the weather. He was going to join us this morning, and he's a great example.
Yes,
he is a leader in the EU as chief TFO from the Netherlands, and he's a great instructor. And he's a person that I've known for a long time, and I've pushed him for a long time. You have to be more of a voice and a trainer, and he paid heed to that.
Yeah.
He's doing great.
He's a big personality
He
too.
is. He's a great personality. We love
Joseba
him.
from Spain.
Oh, my gosh.
That's another great one that is just got to,
He's on our short list for guests that Harold's going to help us with. As a matter of fact, he might have been the number one person we talked about because he is a great guest. They just got some new aircraft in Spain, and let's just face it, he's hilarious.
Yes.
I mean, he's one of the funniest men I've ever met in a great way. Vibrant personality. He represents Spain in such a great way. We'll be talking to him. There's no doubt about it.
And Jack, you mentioned you had been an instructor there at PAVCon.
Yeah.
Glenn Daly, Ken Solosky, Brian Smith.
Yes.
Bill Probst. All those people have been going. That's all our people.
That's
so
right.
It makes sense for us to do it.
It does.
And
It
I'm
does.
glad that the board is wanting to do that.
I'm excited. I'm excited about that. For the people in the EU, for the pilots and TFOs over there, they're going to see a difference. And I'm not saying it wasn't good. It was. But I think you all will take it to another level because of the experience here.
Well,
I mean, with vendors and dealing with all of the behind the scenes stuff. Really, really good at that. That'll help them.
So, for that, be looking for APSCON Australia, APSCON
Singapore,
Asia. So,
APSCON worldwide.
APSCON, APSCON Pacific Rim. So,
Good day. Good day.
Eventually, we will have APSCON in space.
APSCON Mars.
Oh my gosh. Well, Mike Reno's right there. So Mike, we're going to be going to APSCON Australia. We're starting in Sydney. We'll see our buddy Matthew.
Great. Direct flight from Houston. That's
Yes, that's a good choice. That would be exciting. And because Australia, a lot of them come to APSCON
and
over
the reason
the
I
years.
mention that, Jack, is because we have more members in Australia than we have in the entire European Union in terms of membership. Yeah, and it's a mindset. It's a mindset, European versus other and U.S. Here we pay for our own memberships. Many of our members pay. Over half pay for their own memberships. And the European mindset is if my agency wants me to be a member, they'll pay for it. If they don't, I don't.
Then I don't come.
They don't come. They don't pay. So yeah, Australia is very strong, and they didn't come this year, but I've got a contingent of 15 coming next year to Phoenix. So but we do, and in total I have more. APSA has more members in Australia than we have in the entire Europe.
You protect and defend. So do we. Astronautics' proven cybersecurity, connectivity, and upgrade solutions support helicopter OEMs and operators worldwide. When the mission matters, you need to trust that your avionics systems are secure, connected, and reliable because lives depend on it. Continue to protect and defend. So will we. Contact Astronautics at www.astronautics.com.
all the
That's
countries.
fascinating
So,
to
yeah.
me.
Yeah.
I mean, I shouldn't be surprised because I spent some time in Australia teaching to Victoria and New South Wales, and both units were some of the most professional, enthusiastic, open-minded. The list goes on of how I could describe them. They were like sponges. And so that doesn't surprise me.
Yeah.
You know, the LAPD Aircrew course, we've had Matthew Stanton from New South Wales. He's been there. Multiple Australia people. They are a really, on a whole, they're very, very eager to learn and humble about what they do. And I think some of their units are fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
and it's Matthew who's bringing the group next year.
Isn't it? I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
Matthew's a great man.
Yeah, he is.
When I went there, I flew with every TFO that they had in a 6-7 hour period. We'd go up for an hour. I just observe and then critique stuff that was happening when we landed. That was one of the coolest things I've ever done. And that was Matthew. I didn't initiate that. He said, I want you to look at every one of them. And I walked away feeling so good. And they walked away going, wow, I learned something new, but I learned a lot.
Yeah.
They do things differently, than many units here. They're running three deep. They're running a camera, a TFO, and a pilot. I learned a lot. I'm excited about that.
But you don't
too.
often get, for those guys, you don't often get Obi-Wan in the back of your helicopter.
Oh, jeez. Yeah. That's very nice, Dan.
Another thing I just want to mention, which happened this year, is we have Paramount Plus aired our first season of a helicopter, law enforcement helicopter specific television program on like actual TV, not a YouTube channel. It's on Paramount Plus, called Chopper Cops, which features the Marion County Sheriff's Office Aviation Unit and how it interacts with all of the aspects of law enforcement. There's how did this pursuit start, with the interviews of deputies involved on the ground, why they called air support, why they called canine, and how everybody works together to do the job, which is to put these dangerous people in jail. And the guys that are interviewed as pilots, they're so humble, and they're just like, hey, this is just our job. We think it's a cool job, and it just got greenlit for season 2.
Oh, really?
And they filmed it. They filmed it at APSCON last year in Orlando. So some of that's going to be shown on this
they
show.
were
Cool.
filming there, and I also fly for them part-time. So
are we going to see you on that show?
They probably don't want me on TV, but
Can I get an autograph before we leave
Yeah,
here?
he's got the face for radio.
I know that guy. There's Richard. I know that guy.
but it promotes our industry.
It does.
as well, and the Dave and the guys at Aero Brigham had a lot to do with that.
Wow.
So,
exciting.
Yeah.
That's exciting.
What's interesting, I think, about those, you think about recruitment, and I think back to my teenage years, and cops was a major influence in that generation. A lot of people watching cops understood what law enforcement meant, understood what it meant to go to a domestic violence call, and that recruited, I think, a lot of folks who wanted to get into law enforcement. And for a while, it disappeared off network TV. Cops is back on, and this show's on. So I think some more shows are coming online that help promote positively what we're doing in the industry, and I'm hoping that'll help translate into recruitment efforts on the
I agree.
that level. So I'm hopeful for that.
I am too. I agree with you 100% on that because it influenced a lot of people.
Sure.
And we need the positive stuff to get out there in a big way right now. I mean, with the way things are, and it can be turned around. I'm hopeful that it is. I feel like it kind of is, and it can be turned around. But I think shows like we're talking about, and it's Chopper.
It's
Cops.
called Chopper Cops,
Cops,
and it's Marion County Sheriff's Office in Central Florida.
Yep.
So a lot of we've all seen LAPD, NYPD, and now we're featuring this smaller agency, not as well known agency, but still they're flying 407s. They're doing hoisting, Bambi bucket. They've got a great program there, and it's all positive.
Do you do your own stunts? on the show?
No, the
Who's your makeup
insurance won't
person?
allow me to.
Have you slid across the hood of a car yet? I'm just curious.
I asked for a bigger trailer in season 2.
Good man.
Right.
That's
I have a
when you get
lawn
season
trailer
2.
right now with a folding chair on it, and I'm moving up from there.
You got a trailer. I love it.
Get an umbrella this year for your
Yeah,
chair?
maybe I'll have a horse trailer I can sit on, right? Because Marion County, of course, is big horse country. So
Yes.
Very cool. I love
Well,
that. Didn't LAPD have an air beat show or something like that? LAPD Life on the Beat. It was an airborne aviation program. I feel like I remember
they had some episodes.
we had
I think.
episodes
Right.
of Life in the Beat that were really aimed at the aviation side, and which ended up being canine searches a lot of times. But it's good exposure.
Yeah.
I mean, those shows do us a
Wasn't
lot
that
of
Blue
good.
Thunder?
Blue Thunder is what you're thinking of.
That was my inspiration. You're talking about that.
Boy,
You're
oh
talking
boy.
about us. You know?
I think about that, and I saw Blue Thunder in Los Angeles the year that it came out, the year I came on the job, 83, and I was with a friend, and we went and saw that, and I went, oh my gosh, and this before I'm on the job, and little did I know that I'd be flying off that Hooper heliport years later. I had
awesome.
no idea.
Yeah.
But, that movie still is fun. Roy Scheider's great. I mean, that movie's still a lot of fun to watch. And, for aviation side, people say, oh, that kind of got me going and thinking about aviation.
Yep.
I did not ever fly a ship with a gun on it, though. SWAT guys, but nothing with a gun in the front nose. Could have ended a lot of pursuits quickly. But, well, with that said, we know these guys are really busy, and we really appreciate your time. John, anything else on your mind before we let these busy men go?
Again, I'd like to thank you guys. Like you talked about, the planning never stops for these. Because this is going now, you're just getting ready for next year. So thank you for all the time and effort you put into doing this. It means a lot for everybody that's here. Talk about building the culture within our community, and this is the thing that does that. So thank you guys for all your efforts. For all the years you've committed to doing this. I know you've sacrificed a lot of family time, personal time, everything else. So thank you.
Well, thank you. I mean, the podcasts are now, more the younger crowd listens to the podcast and watch the podcast, and that's helping the future of this organization too.
We hope so.
So thank you for the privilege of having us on.
Talking about partnerships, our partnership with you has been great.
Yeah,
really
let's keep
appreciate
that going.
Yeah.
We need to keep that going. I should have mentioned at the beginning that we are recording from the Vertical Valor booth with Mike Reno and the crew.
He's signing autographs over there
Is
somewhere.
Mike? Yeah, he's pretty famous.
Yeah.
Mike's great, and we really appreciate him having John and I here.
Yeah.
And then we get the opportunity to hang out with a whole bunch of people. We're going to have some award winners coming on in the next today and tomorrow.
Houston PD's coming up.
Houston PD, we're going to talk to them.
Yeah, I heard Jeff Surpass is coming your way. I think.
So we're going to talk
that's
to
good.
them. We're looking forward to tonight,
Yep.
where the FLIR Awards, which is also always one of the favorite events.
Our most highly attended social event of the whole.
It's huge.
The whole
It's
show.
huge. We fill a huge room, and we get to listen to Brian Spillane as the MC from FLIR, and get to see his video, and then see some really, really cool finds.
Yes.
From across the country. Multiple awards that they give out.
In 2014, myself and one of my guys won the first place Vision Award.
Yes.
It was it actually was in Phoenix.
Yes.
On the jumbotron
At the ballpark.
in Diamondback
Yes,
Stadium.
yes.
Yes.
That was
And that for a small agency like where I come from, it's Alachua County. Most people can't even pronounce it.
Yes,
but
I don't touch that one.
But that put us on the map, and it's a great event.
That was really cool. And I remember that one too. We were sitting at Diamondback Stadium, and Brian's video that year happened to be one that we made in SoCal with the Police Unity Tour, meshed with some FLIR stuff. I mean, that started with me asking him a favor. Hey, would you help me with a safety video that's funny that I can put off for Police Unity Tour? We have 300 riders that are riding from, New Jersey to D.C.
Your
blah, blah.
son Ian was running the medic truck
That's
that
right.
day, right?
That's right. Ian was on the medic truck at the end when Brian came in all beat up, and my wife Tracy was driving the van. Her first exposure to that, doing voiceovers and stuff. So that was a special video for me because most of my family, 3/4 of my family, was in that video. It was really fun. But seeing the FLIR Awards up there on that big screen in the center field, that was cool, and that was a first place for you, Richard.
Yes, it was.
Which probably led to your stardom on Chopper Cups.
It does.
I'm pretty sure. They said, wow, he's big screen material.
Yeah.
Just slide across
well,
his hood.
I think I'm the reason they got the second season.
I'm pretty sure you're right.
They said, oh, he's working for you now? Oh, yeah. Green light.
I think they got to make up for that first season. When I heard.
Oh, man.
I just want to note, too, going to Phoenix, and we're talking about Phoenix. When we go there next year, they'll be the second 5-time host of this event. So
oh, really?
It'll be our 54th annual, and 10 of them between those two cities. So
here, stand
cool.
between these guys real quick. Come on, I mean it. Stand between
Harold
them.
Brink makes
here's Harold.
Now Harold Brink shows up. Oh, we've been
Harold
talking.
showed up.
Harold.
I heard you've been sick. So I shake your hand. Okay.
You look a little pale, Harold.
You look fine. Well, Harold is our newest co-host to the Hangar Z podcast from the Netherlands, and we're going to be doing some stuff together. We talked about Joseba, we talked about the French and German, I believe, guest. So we're
going to do subtitles now?
I don't know. We'll see. Again, thank you for taking the time to join us and share what's going on here, what's going on in the future. We all look forward to that. We'll keep this relationship going as best we can because it benefits a lot of people. Like you said, the podcast has exploded, and John had the foresight and the vision to do this. It's amazing.
Yeah,
I mean, what this man has done from nothing, from a hobby during COVID to fourth anniversary show coming up with Jimmy Hatch and Hal Mack, two of our previous guests coming back for the anniversary show. We're so excited.
It's good to see. I don't want to keep pressing on, but it's good to see that people that maybe lost their medical or can't be involved in the active flying side to go, what can I do to keep my passion promoted? And John's doing that with
He
I'm
is.
thankful for that.
He is, and I'm just honored to be a small part of this. Thanks again, John, for inviting me to do this. So, with that, Richard, Dan, thanks for joining us. John, we got more to do today with podcasts and with visiting some vendors, and so we'll be signing off from the Vertical Valor booth here at APSCON 2024, Houston, Texas.
All right.
Thanks for joining us.
Yes,
Cheers.
our pleasure. Thank you very much.
Cheers, everybody.
See you guys.
Thanks for joining us for this episode of the Hangar Z podcast. Don't forget to like and subscribe to hear more stories that promote the personnel and equipment behind the missions in public safety aviation. Lastly, stand by for a message after a word from our sponsors. Cheers.
You protect and defend. So do we. Astronautics' proven cybersecurity, connectivity, and upgrade solutions support helicopter OEMs and operators worldwide. When the mission matters, you need to trust that your avionics systems are secure, connected, and reliable because lives depend on it. Continue to protect and defend. So will we. Contact Astronautics at www.astronautics.com. Thank you to our sponsor, Robinson Helicopter Company, the choice for unrivaled safety and reliability so you can accomplish any mission with confidence. For more than half a century, Robinson has been at the forefront of the helicopter industry. From the R-22 to the R-66 turbine, Robinson makes helicopters accessible so more people can accomplish more missions. Climb higher. For additional information, visit www.robinsonheli.com. Thank you to our sponsor, Shotover. Shotover Systems is the leading developer and manufacturer of high-performance gyro-stabilized cameras with advanced real-time AR mapping and mission management, all backed by unparalleled custom training and support. Now offering the M2 multi-sensor system, sole 6-axis EO/IR platform with 4K Ultra HD color and infrared technology. Ideal for law enforcement and defense. Offered with real-time AR overlays to quickly identify streets, weather, and traffic. Automated license plate recognition, 24-megapixel digital photographs, and automated steering and tracking.
That wraps up this insightful episode of the Hangar Z podcast, brought to you by Vertical Helicast, recorded live at the Airborne Public Safety Association Conference, or APSCON, in Houston, Texas. We extend our gratitude to our guest, Dan Schwarzbach, the Executive Director and CEO of the Airborne Public Safety Association, and APSA President Richard Bray for their valuable contribution to today's conversation. Together, we explore the evolution of law enforcement aviation, emphasizing the impact of technological advancements, the vital role of networking, and the partnerships that enhance operational effectiveness in our field. From the significant changes in aviation technology to the expansion of the APSCON conference, it's clear that community connections are invaluable in fostering growth and support. APSA's commitment to its members, providing scholarships, webinars, and numerous networking opportunities, underscores its dedication to building a robust and thriving community. As we look ahead to the plans for expansion into Europe and the emphasis on media's role in promoting the aviation industry and facilitating recruitment efforts highlight the exciting future that lies ahead. Thank you for joining us on this episode of the Hangar Z podcast. We encourage you to stay connected with the Hangar Z community and continue cultivating the relationships and skills that make our industry stronger. Catch you next time. Cheers.
Time to close up the hangar. Thanks for joining us on the Hangar Z podcast, brought to you by Vertical Helicasts.